somewhat consistent weeks of talking about weird shit.
What he doesn't know is we've been secretly sending him gay clown porn to see if it will actually turn him gay, as the Republicans claim.
That's funny that you say that because I'm looking at a book on my bookshelf right now that reads City of Clowns.
City of Gay Clowns.
Well, no, this just says City of Clowns.
Either way, he's texting a lot of weird stuff about the Joker recently.
That's one sexy clown.
All right, let's. Okay, we have an introduction that Alex is gonna do, but I kind of want to do a personalized introduction. Lee Sober Shapiro caught my.
Maybe we should introduce ourselves first, there, bud.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Welcome to Crook and not murder, but also Alex.
Kind of like Crook and not Dingleberry.
Yeah, you're like not murder essentially.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's a compliment.
I'm Kenny Crook Irish Kirby, and I will be your host of this podcast. I'm joined today by ever the special guest, Alex.
Who, as everybody knows, when the co-host is not here, not temporarily promoted to co-host, still stuck in a room by myself.
This is
Special guest Alex.
100% true.
Yeah.
Now, we have brought you a lot of stories and a lot of stuff that we've covered. Some of them we've treated unfairly. Others we have taken a bit more serious. This story today, I believe, is the closest example of a story of someone touching the veal. Like, this story is probably...
Whoa. We're talking about somebody touching fucking goddamn baby sheep?
No, not veal. The veal. The barrier between our dimensions. The barrier between our realities. She broke it. And she paid the price for it.
Now, is it still pedophilia if you non-consensually sexually touch a baby sheep?
Yes. In fact,
Okay.
that's both pedophilia and now bestiality. So good job.
Interesting.
For
Okay.
introducing
Yeah, I was
that
just
to the podcast.
I was just asking for a friend. That's all.
We're not gonna put. And let's just start the freaking show.
Yeah.
Your introduction. Turning it over to Alex.
Between the third and fourth dimension, there exists a barrier of perception. One that keeps us from losing our mind to the horrors of creatures beyond our comprehension. Alongside our etheric being and spirit guardians, this barrier helps protect us from the dangers posed within other realities. Which is why most ghosts, monsters, demon stories rarely end in serious harm or death. Never ends badly. Ever. Though, what happens when you willingly give up that protection? Join us today as we dive into the story of Lee Sober Shapiro, a mad genius who discovered that answer, like so many of us do, the hard way. And I don't mean sexually hard.
Not
I mean
sexual.
I mean like an obstacle that's hard to get around. Difficult.
You know, you made a joke about those encounters never ending seriously, but here's the thing. They never really do. Pretty much anybody that comes into contact with like aliens or demons or these like otherworldly beings always seem to be able to live to tell the tale.
Well, that's only because those are the ones that live to tell the tale.
Yeah,
There's a lot of missing people in this world, man.
but you
That
would
never
also
get solved.
think we would hear about the other half.
Why?
At least
Why
the
would
case
we?
here or there that's like a demon.
Why would we? Yeah, but why would we hear about the other half? They're missing. They're gone. There's no trace of them.
Unless the whole thing's a cover up.
No. I think it's just because we only hear about the ones that come back, but there's more often than not they don't.
You know, there might be validity to that simply because it's the case and what transpired afterwards. So let's dive in to the account of Lee Sober Shapiro.
So, we are going to be talking about Lee Sober Shapiro, her life, her many great aspirations, probably how she was not the greatest mother in the world, and and at the end of this, we will each give our very serious, well thought and researched theories of what Lee Sober Shapiro might have experienced. In 1939, Lee quickly proved herself to be exceptional. Not only was she a concert pianist from the Juilliard School, she was also an avid astrologer and artist. Multifaceted. Furthermore, according to Ghost Adventures, she possessed a degree in astrophysics from Stanford. I have a lot of things about Stanford. Most of them are not good, but it is a well-regarded school, factually. Whether it deserves that, we can talk about that later. All this to say, Lee was truly brilliant on multiple fronts. However, Lee had the type of genius that comes with a touch of insanity, kind of like Russell Crowe. She started to sink deep into the occult slash Satanism world and actively began practicing literally necromancy. So, bitch would have fucking rocked Diablo 4.
Actually, yeah. Diablo 4 probably would have been right up her alley. But the thing with Lee Sober Shapiro, all right, I wanna put this out up front. A lot of what we know about Lee Sober Shapiro comes from Ghost Adventures. And my opinion on that show is dubious at best. I've seen them. Uh, I don't respect their methods. I don't respect their results. I don't respect the way they go about uh, ghost hunting, and I've caught them in many lies on their show. And then I went forward to look up how people reacted when Zach Baggins and the crew came to their house, and they did not like him. Very brutish. Kind of came in, snapped a few pics, rolled some tape, and then left. Didn't try to investigate the scene at all, outside of what you see on the TV. So I would take all this with a grain of salt, and I would immediately dismiss this story uh, as something a con man that fucking Zach Baggins is, if it weren't for other things that came to light. There are grounding facts in this story, and I had to dig hard to find most of them.
So the one thing that I will say, just for the purposes, I spoke to our lawyers just now. Alleged con man, Zach Baggins.
I I'm not gonna reveal everything I found, because there's families behind Lee Sober Shapiro that don't need the backlash of her. But I will dance around their names to kind of give you an idea of what happened.
Okay. All right. Well, Lee began by working with engineers to craft machines. Her machines were based off the practice of radionics, which I don't really know very much. You want to explain what that means a little bit?
Actually, you're about to explain it, and then I'm going to break it down.
Okay. So, radionics was a process that began in ancient Egypt times, which I'm not entirely sure how, because how did they have radios? In a nutshell, radionics is used to heal others via wavelengths, vibrations, and thought patterns. Oh, it's about healing? Oh, it's hippy dippy shit. Oh, fuck, go down to the store, get my goddamn crystal. fucking just chop up that crystal and snort it, and you'll feel all sorts of better. Alright.
Oh my god.
So essentially affecting atoms from any conceivable distance, think quantum entanglement, When working with radionics, it's important to focus the mind towards your intent. This will affect the output the universe responds with. So, the more you bone the universe, the more the universe bones back. Seems like a very healthy, fertile relationship. Though the procedure can be accomplished entirely from the mind, practitioners will typically use input/output wells to fine tune the procedure, the radionics. Basically, all it means is these fucking hippies use goddamn crystals.
I mean, it's a little bit more than that, but go on.
So, adding your intent to the input well via objects or formulas or sticking your dick in said crystal, and your desired result to the output well in the same fashion will allow you to zero in on the purpose of the machine and produce a stronger out, dare I say, come.
Okay. allow me allow me to break down radionics for you guys in the best way possible. Radionics actually, there could be some truth to it. And one of the things that like the Ghost Adventurers did, because they have the quarantine episode where they tried to use her machines, uh, and this is like one of the things that royally pisses me off, is instead of running the experiment as it was originally run and try to redo it, they added a bunch of shit to it and went, okay, let's do it now. Which, at that time when I was watching it, I was like, this is fucking bullshit because that's not actual science. Like, if you're gonna recreate an experiment, you recreate it with the exact parameters that you did the first time. You don't add shit to it and then, like, say your results are different.
Well, of course, your results are going to be different if you add shit to it.
The other thing that radionics is required is no electricity in it. It should be all analog. And the thing is, those motherfuckers put electricity into the goddamn radionics equipment. Like,
Wait, which motherfuckers?
the Ghost Adventurers.
Oh. Well, I couldn't an argument be made that that's just technology? Like that's an evolution of radionics?
Here's my argument to your argument. Back when we did the Keys of Solomon, I made one very important thing. And that was magic is fucking hard. It is not, okay, it says onion, maybe I'll just substitute it for a tomato. It's gotta be an onion, and it's gotta be on this date, under this time, under this spot.
It's like baking.
Yeah, it's literally like bacon. It is a science. And what they did was they started substituting ingredients and got a different result. And then they tried to pass it off to the fucking crowd like they were some kind of genius. I'm sorry, I really hate Ghost Adventures. After that and like the Haunted Museum episode, I've lost all respect I have for them.
All right, well then let's jump
But-
back.
Allow me to explain radionics.
Yep.
So, radionics is this. You have these machines that have input and output wells. You put your intent into the input well. As in, if you're like, hey, I want to figure out what is my disease, you would write that on a piece of paper, put it into the input well, and start concentrating. What it's supposed to do is send out a wavelength that kind of matches with your vibration, vibrational like being, and then it, in a sense, scans you and goes, "This is what's wrong, and this is how you fix it."
Oh my god, it's too bad that Max is not here because this sounds just like a fucking Deep Space Nine episode. But go ahead. Fuck.
But that is radionics in a nutshell. It is homeopathic healing. When Lee Sober Shapiro got a hold or created these machines, I don't think she created it with the intent of like, let's learn how to heal the world via hippies. I believe she created it with an intent of like, I'm gonna reach the other side because she saw purpose in these machines that were underutilized.
You know what, you know what her real intent was that nobody knows, and this will, the spoiler for my theory. But her radionics, her homeopathic medicine, she really created it because she always knew that it would fucking kill Steve Jobs one day.
Did it kill Steve Jobs?
But, okay, well, all right. I guess never mind. I mean, technically, cancer killed Steve Jobs, but I mean, if we're gonna get technical about it, cancer killed Steve Jobs, but he refused all like modern fucking like cancer treatments because he was like, nah, man, those fucking hippy dippies with their crystals can heal me, and then he died of cancer.
Well, yeah. And I don't think she was using the machine to heal herself. Now,
Oh, you got more?
I got more. The thing with radionics is, you remember that part in Harry Potter 6 where Harry Potter's chasing after Snape and he's yelling out all his spells?
I do, but only if you can tell me what the sixth book was called.
The Half-Blood Prince.
Okay,
So,
continue.
anyway, and Snape's like, stop. Stop yelling out all your fucking spells and just think it. Like, he's like, I've been teaching you this all throughout the semester. You should learn how to fucking use your mind as opposed to just using the crutch. With radionics, the input well is the crutch. Whatever formulas or thoughts or whatever we scribble on the symbols we put in there are just to help tune and focus the mind to the frequency that it's needed at. So this whole thing could be done via mind alone if it's strong enough.
Yeah, I'll think like Eastern meditation, I would say.
Yeah, like Eastern meditation. And the symbols, and that I think that goes for all magic. Like the symbols and sigils that they use are really just crutches to focus the mind on that particular wavelength.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, it's like a physical reminder, right? Like it's a focal point, right? It's something, but not a focal point in the sense that like the magic is in that like rune or symbol or whatever. It's just it allows your mind to focus on something,
To grasp it.
right?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
open it up. Exactly. And that is radionics in a nutshell.
And with that, in her development of radionics, Lee believed reality could be manipulated via sound or vibrations, mathematics, and light. Um, so really, she thought it could be manipulated via sound and light using mathematics. I'm assuming as a form of figuring out the frequencies you would need and wavelengths and such.
Well,
Uh,
this is in a sense. I'm sorry. I'm gonna jump in here real quick.
yeah, yeah.
This is an assumption because of how much or how little we know about this girl. But
Do you want to get into at all why we know so little, or is that what you were kind of talking about, dancing around stuff?
we're gonna talk about that at the end. That's the
Okay,
discussion part.
all right.
Um, right now we're just gonna tell the story and what led to it. But she, I, I believe, uh, fucking Lee was on the same wavelength as I was as far as like how we think the universe runs. Because I truly believe that the universe is run by sound, vibrations, and like light and mathematics to like tie it all together. Because
Well, if I could, just real quick, just because I kind of want to make this clear,
yeah,
I think I agree with the universe being built, right? So if we think of like a house, Because I just kind of want to make this clear. Just so like if we think of a house, right? So like the materials in which the house is built is sound, light, vibrations, those things. And I think mathematics is just a way for it's just a tool for us to perceive those things, right? So it's just a way mathematics is just like a one form of blueprints to understand
Well, yeah,
like how those constitute together. I
math.
don't I don't I don't think mathematics is like I don't think mathematics is like a universal building block,
Okay,
right? I don't.
now I think I might have wrote that wrong. Mathematics is the key to understanding it.
Yeah.
It's not the source behind it.
Yeah.
The source behind it is light and sound. That
Yeah,
is
okay.
why,
All right.
like,
I
when
just
you
wanted to make that clear.
that's why when you go back to like the old Arabic religions and whatnot, they'll be like, if you summon this demon, say this version in God's name to banish him. And if you think about it, what they're really saying is like, say these consonants and symbols in the correct order to banish this monster. You know, because you're giving them the sound, the vibration to like exercise them essentially.
Yeah, so let's go. So what I'm going to say now is essentially these are the things that Lee basically she took this type of reasoning and this type of logic and tools to another level and sought to hack reality by radionics, sound vibrations, light, using mathematics to bring all those things together. And she cranked her machines, the anapathic chambers, which I explain a little bit before we move on, because that seems like a very specific term.
Anapathic chambers or electronic ponticizers are what we've been talking about. They're the input output wells. They're the machines.
So maybe this might make it a little easier. I mean, especially for me, right? Because as everybody knows, Special Alex, guest Alex, does not do research on this show. So I'm too good for that. Um, do you think you could like physically describe one of these machines?
So they're about the size of a box. Um, the input well is like, imagine a Mario uh, question mark box that he punches. Imagine
Yep.
about the size of that. But hers were pure white. She had one little uh, hole going into it with like a plastic cup that was about uh, 2 inches deep, maybe. But essentially, that's the input well. She would put her spells and formulas into there, and then the other half were the same size, but they had a giant circle in the middle of them. Think like a subwoofer with their giant circle, and that's where she would put her other objects uh, to get her desired outcome.
So the output well.
Yeah.
Okay. Now my next question, because now I'm actually interested in learning about this via talking. Um, Basically, so when you say she would like, she had like, so it was a box and it had an input well and an output well. So it literally had like slots for these things, right?
Yeah.
When you say she would put in like her spells and whatever in the input well, like what did her spells look like?
That's a very good question. Um, Here's the thing. Lee's sober Shapiro found that weird cross, like that crossway. You know, like the four-way crossway or whatever. She found that weird intersection between magic and science because her spells that she wrote were like actual mathematical equations mixed
Oh,
with
nice.
occult symbols.
Okay.
So what she was writing, only she understood because it was her intent, and like nobody's really been able to crack it. But then again, a lot of people haven't had a fucking chance at it yet. And she would put that into the well. We're gonna get into what her intent was here in a bit, but you got to realize this input well, these spells, these formulas, uh, what you said earlier, or what I said, where that it's the key to unlocking it. This is the key. She wasn't directly applying mathematics to it, but she was honing her mind to the mathematical equation to work the radionic machine at the frequency that she changed it up to.
Nice. Okay. So, yeah, so she would basically put these formulas that she constructed into the input well, which then would affect the output well, which would be some sort of object like a satanic Bible or a copy of the Necromon. Oh man,
Well,
Necronomicon. Nec,
Necronomicon, yeah.
oh man,
How do you not?
Necronomicon.
That's
Thank
the
you.
most famous book ever.
Necronomicon. I don't know what the Necronomicon is.
H.P. Lovecraft, Evil Dead.
Oh, I know the book. Oh, the Necromonica. That's a real book.
Okay, let's take I'm actually glad that you went into this completely blind because it's offering you a chance to ask questions that the audience may have. Now, the Necronomicon, and I could be wrong on this. I'm gonna have to study it a bit, and I'll get back to you guys with an answer. The original Necronomicon, the one written by H.P. Lovecraft, is 100% fake. Cthulhu is not a real being. Um, I mean, unless you subscribe to the multiverse theory, in which case, he's 100% a real being, and he could be eating his way to our reality as we speak. But his Necronomicon only exists in print, as in H.P. Lovecraft made it up. However,
yeah, by in print, made up in print, you mean like in his stories?
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
However, somewhere in I think 1970 to 1980s, they released a Necronomicon, and it's like literally a book of spells that witches use, like white witches, black witches. I'm talking like black and white magic here, but like not race, but like evil witches, good witches. Like it's a book of spells. It's
Yeah.
magic
Yeah.
in its purest form, and you can open it up, and they'll have shit like find my cookie jar, all the way to kill this person.
Ooh, found my cookie jar.
And she put that alongside the satanic Bible and various other objects into the output well. So let's just take a step back here for a second. She's using occult symbols and mathematical equations in the input well, and her output well has the Necronomicon, the Satanic Bible, and various other like artifacts. This girl is not aiming for something that's good. And I'm not saying that the Satanic Bible is bad or that the Necronomicon is bad. I think everything could be good or bad. It depends on whose hands it falls into. Like Christianity, a lot of people say is good until we look at the Westboro Baptist Church. Every religion has a good and a bad side to it.
Or the fucking Catholic Church. Why would you
Or
not? They're right there, dude.
or the molesting priests, or
Man, I was
you
about to
get.
say, if we want to talk about pedophilia, ho, 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 ho.
But then on the offside of that, you have soup kitchens. Like you have them trying to actually help the world. Or
Salvation Army.
Yeah, Salvation Army. So every religion has both a good side and a bad side. It's truly up to the individual what they do with it. The fact that she paired it with the Necronomicon and what we're going to talk about in a bit was her intent means she was seeking out evil. And I have a theory on it is that when she was the reason she was seeking out evil is because if you're going to get something to bite you, it's far more likely you're going to get something dark to bite you as opposed to something light.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I mean, I really got no other questions. I feel like that pretty much explained her version of radionics pretty good. Um, I kind of understand it much better. So, do you want to get into her intent now? Because, I mean, she wasn't trying to, contact her dog or grandfather or the guy she owed $20 to when he fucking croaked by fucking tying his balls to a little bit of door and fucking pulling them out just like a tooth.
I think it's important to recognize that rather than healing with radionics, Lee was trying to contact the other.
Yeah, she was,
She,
they,
she
the guy that owed her $20, really, I heard that they had some kink,
yeah.
fucking trying to invent the cock ring, but
No, she
they
went directly for the big kahuna on that one, dude.
they failed. Yeah, she did. And so the Necronomicon and the Satanist Bible and various objects in the output wells, uh, you know, weren't necessarily evil by themselves, right? I mean, you just had to explain what these. I mean, I know what the Satanist Bible is,
Yeah.
but so the Necronomicon, like you said, right? Not evil in of itself, right? It had white spells in it, black, So, but the intent she put into those objects drew darkness to her, which you just said. You think that it was a little bit easier for her.
I think
Um,
it's easier to contact the dark than it is the light. Like, if the whole thing, for instance, okay, simply from a business standpoint, right? If we're sent to Earth to learn to be better and grow spiritually, um, and you got people out there that still have to like reach that plane, of course they're going to try to topple you. That's fucking human nature. And if they're spirits and they're kind of fucking dickheads, they'll be more likely to jump onto an Ouija board or whatever you're trying to contact and be like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm bored as shit. When's my go around to Earth? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you try to contact the light, it could be like, page not found.
oh my god! All right, this is a little bit of tangent, but one of my favorite shows is. I mean, I guess it's not my favorite show, but I really enjoy Parks and Rec. And you know that fucking whatever his name is,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt's in it. One of my favorite scenes in that show was completely improvised by him. It's when I think it's April's really sick or something. Maybe not April. One of the characters is really, really sick, and they ask him to fucking look up symptoms online, and he was like, "Well, all that's coming up is I mean, it must be pretty bad because all it says for symptoms is what is it, like could not disconnect or whatever. Like it's like a computer error on the screen, and he just reads it off as if it's a fucking system, like symptom. Oh, it's so good. Um, but yeah, so like you said, she was looking out for, like, she was going after the evil. Do you want to take this? The specific big baddie she was going for.
Sure. Yeah, as we discussed, she put her own formulas into the input well, which were a beautiful mixture of the occult and mathematical physics. Like, this is what fucking boggles me about her. Is this girl did it. She did what so many people are trying to do. Everyone's like, we got to find that bridge between science and religion. It's like she found it, and that's what you fucking get for it. it's so fascinating and frustrating at the same time that we can't have access to this equipment, or we need to find a way to build it because I want to do this. But within her equations were essentially callouts to the demon star Al Ghul. You guys may not be familiar with Al Ghul, and that's okay. We're about to go into it. But basically, she intended to connect with one of the most accursed stars in the sky.
Yeah, because she's a crazy person. So, the demon star Al Ghul traces its roots all the way back to Arabic astrology when it was named, haha, yes it was, Raz Al Ghul, the demon's head. And yeah, the reason I chuckled is because it is the Batman villain, baby!
I
It's
was
none other than fucking Qui-Gon Jinn himself,
on
people!
Honestly, that was my favorite little factoid that I looked up. I'm like, oh, this is where they got Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I had no fucking idea. So that is really fascinating. When Greece rolled around, they turned it into a Gorgon, who I've heard of, and you can find the star sitting just to the left of Medusa's forehead in the Perseus constellation. Now, Al Ghul was considered bad juju, motherfuckers, because of the way its light fluctuated in the sky. It is basically the star of misfortune, shitty circumstances, and all around a bad, bad time. However, it's worth pointing out that the star itself is not malicious. So again, kind of like what we've all been talking, like what you've been talking about, right? Like these tools, these things are not evil in of themselves. But it's the behavior isn't some vendetta against the human race, right? Al Ghul is neither good nor bad. It's a star doing its job. And its job is to challenge humanity so we may grow spiritually stronger. Do you want to go into that a little bit more? Because I don't know if I know it. I said the words. I don't. Go into that a
I
little bit
got it.
more.
Okay, Al Ghul, the demon star, has roots in Arabic times. It was called, Ra's al Ghul back then. When Greece came around, they took the star and they made it into the Gorgon's head. If you look at Medusa and look slightly to the left, like it's still in her forehead, you'll find Al Ghul. Now, the thing with this star is like it went from being called a demon to being on the literal head of a demon once the Perseus constellation was made, and it's never really been like looked at favorably. Uh, I don't have the degree or the knowledge of astrology or the astral plane to 100% explain this, but I'm gonna do the best I can. When uh people of like a spiritual growth look at, and we could almost 100% say these Sober Shapiro was in the spiritualist category. um when people look at the world of good and bad like that, they don't see good and bad. It's yin and yang. For every yin there must be a yang. For every good side of religion there must be a bad side of religion. For every light there must be a dark. Al Ghul's role in the light or in the sky is to be the dark side. And what it does is like if your uh house is in conjunction with it within the astrology charts or it's in the eighth house, it can cause serious misfortune in your life. Like your parents dying, or like your dog dying, or your car breaking down, or you losing your home. Like real bad shit. Uh but it's not doing it because the universe is saying fuck you. It's doing it because it wants you to grow as a person, to overcome the challenge and become better. So Lee considered it a good idea to make direct contact with this star for some fucking reason.
Well, what she wanted to do.
And
Um,
you got to realize, okay, actually, yeah, I do got a little bit more to go on here. With the Haunted Museum episode of Ghost Adventures, they made her out to be this like fucking cookie cutter like grandma, where she's like, "Oh, I got this plate of cookies. Oh, I gotta go talk to my demons again. I hope they don't hurt me." And it's like that's not how I see Lee Sober Shapiro, and I think they royally fucked that up because the very first thing they say in the episode is like they ask a bunch of questions and then go, "This reenactment is based off those questions." And I'm like, it's not a fucking reenactment then. You're just making assumptions and you're giving us opinions. And
today on the crossover of Ghost Adventures and SNL.
basically, but shit, where was I with that? Jog my memory, Alex.
You were talking about the reason that she was doing this and Ghost Adventures
Oh,
making her not as serious as she should have been.
Yeah, I don't see her as some fucking grandma that's like inviting people over for tea and, just a joy to be around her. I see her as Moira from goddamn Overwatch. Like looking at people and being like, you could be improved. Like
You
she
actually kind of a badass attitude. I
Yeah.
I have to admit.
And just like overall being that kind of mad scientist, like what
I
happens
will.
if we push the bounds?
I will say even the attitude of when you're like, well, it's not a little old grandma bringing you fucking crumpets and teas, but like, badass woman that could be like, how could you improve? Is also kind of a grandmotherly attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but it's the grandmother that the
no,
fucking
no, I'm
family
saying like it's
ostracizes.
yeah, no, I'm saying well, yeah, but I'm saying like that attitude of like, well, how could you be improved is like kind of like the badass grandmother. Like that's the grandmother we all wish we had.
Actually, yeah.
Right? Someone there that's just like, you could be better, do better. And you're like, grandma, that kind of hurts, but I mean, you ain't wrong.
I have mad respect for this chick because they're basically we're gonna go into it, but not a lot of people know this fucking story, and it pisses me off because she's one of those. She's a Newton. She is a literal like Newton, Einstein. She is game changing in the world of science, and she literally like potentially contacted the dead, and the role is just moving on with that. Like,
Well, Well, let's get into it, and then I'll kind of say something because of everything you explained. I'll have some follow-up questions, but let's get into this last little section, and then we can really just kind of go back and forth. Okay?
okay,
All right. So, no one outside the family, so the Shapiro family, knows the exact time frame, but Lee got to work. She jacked her frequency way high and started fucking around with the frequencies and the inputs and the outputs. The Zach Baggins Museum has her notes, scribblings, and theories, so we kind of know some of the events that she went through, such as slowly losing contact with her etheric being, as in it was fading due to the experiments. Think like a guardian angel, maybe like a firewall against the universal collective, right?
yeah,
Um, she then began to claim possession by demons. She said they were talking to her and slowly taking her over. Apparently, they even showed her the seventh layer of hell. Not they would be proud. Everything came to a head on October 17th, 2002. Now, details are a bit iffy around this event for reasons we may not get into. Some say it was over 24 hours, some say over 6. There are people that say it was even over the course of an hour. But Lee took a series of photographs showing her gradual possession by demons. The Polaroids show a woman descending into madness, and the final one got cut in half with no explanation. Now, let me finish, and then I have one quick follow-up question. We can go into discussion. But
oh yeah,
the next day, these Polaroids were found next to Lee's machines. All of them turned on. The machines were turned on, and all of them running. Lee was in the middle of them, slumped over in her chair, dead. I have two major questions. The
all right, let's
first
hear it.
one, when it says the Polaroid was cut in half, are we talking like a fucking eerily like clean cut?
Yes, like a pair of scissors did it.
Damn, okay, fucking weird. The second one is slumped over in her chair dead, and I know again for I don't know if we'll talk about the reasons because you said that we would kind of
Oh no,
dance
we will.
around some stuff. But was there any like in your research any sort of indication of like foul play or heart attack or stroke or like anything?
I looked for it. I looked for everything. So here's the thing with Lee Sharp Shapiro, Lee Sober Shapiro. She was considered the black sheep of her family. So when she died, her family paid off uh, someone to have her name scrubbed from the internet. All her. Let's see. Wait. How come y'all are just now starting? What do you, Spider dude? we're in the middle of it. Okay. The family essentially like wrote her off. Like people within the family didn't talk about her. It was like a we don't talk about Bruno sort of thing, except they just kind of really fucking hated her. Uh, and I traced like I private investigated this shit. I know their family. I know the names. I know who they married. I know who they had children of. Like I even know where most of them fucking live now. And that's kind of like spooky, but I couldn't find a single fucking thing on Lee Sober Shapiro other than her birthplace, where she died, and this story. And now I want you to picture this. When she was found, she was in the middle of her machines. Like she was surrounded by all the machines that she was using to contact the other side. All of them were on. In front of her was a television set to static and Polaroids on the floor of her descent into madness.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy, dude.
It's real fucking creepy. And
It's
now,
creepy.
here's the part where I would say, okay, Zach Baggins did a really good con. You know, this is because
Alleged con.
alleged con. The only place you can see the Polaroids is in his museum. The only place you can like really view the machines outside of like the quarantine episode, which you have to pay for, is in his museum. And most of the information you can get from her is in his museum. You want to know what else is creepy? What else is creepy, Spider Dude? Alex, that man is creepy. Yes, Alex is creepy. you're creepy, Alex.
I mean, we already talked about my pedophile glasses, so.
Oh, that's true. You do have those now.
Yep.
Um,
If I
and,
ever walk up to you asking if you can help me fix my car, say no.
and I would sit here and say Zach Baggins made the whole thing up to drive people to, except for two things. There is an obituary of Lee Sober Shapiro. There's an ancestry of Lee Sober Shapiro. There is a granddaughter who in 2009 wrote a blog post being like, "Hey, I just found out that my grandmother existed. I always thought my stepmother or step grandmother was my real grandmother, but it turns out she wasn't. Now I'm going to go find out stuff about this family. Her name was Lee Sober Shapiro, and she was a brilliant mind, you know." And the museum opened in 2017.
17? Really?
Yeah. So that means either
I didn't.
Zach played a really long con of 8 years where he hired somebody to post a blog about their grandmother just to drive people to his museum 8 years later.
Well, he might have not done it to just like. I don't know if Zach Baggins has that much fucking forethought.
I don't think he's that intelligent.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know a lot about him, but
So, fast forward to about 2020, the podcast This Is Why We Drink do an episode on Lee Sober Shapiro and how creepy it is, and the granddaughter reaches out to her again, or reaches out to them, and goes, I found out a lot more about my grandmother. She was a Satanist. She kidnapped my father and drove him around Europe and Egypt for 10 years, or when he was 10, and the U.S. government apparently had to kidnap him back. She was heavily into the occult. She started hiring engineers to create machines to talk to the dead and started writing formulas to make that happen. So this lines up with the Lee Sober Shapiro museum exhibit, and then Zach Baggins, who up to that point hadn't released the name, essentially went, okay, yeah, it's Lee Sober Shapiro. If you go into the museum, you can see that. That means there's a very big possibility that this is real and nobody's fucking talking about it.
Well, um, digestive problems is a something that needs to come more to light in this world. But I'm getting ahead of myself with my own theory about what actually happened.
Did that explanation make sense to you, Alex?
It did. Yeah, no, yeah, it did.
Okay. So, Lee, she scares me. But she's also exactly the type of person I would admire the fuck out of. Because what she did was she had an idea, a theory pertaining to science, and decided to enact it. She died for it.
Well, you know what this means, right?
What's that?
This means we need to build one of her machines and get an object of hers and try to contact Lee Sober Shapiro herself.
Honestly, in the in the Ghost Adventurers episode, they tried to contact her and she is pissed off. She's like, her ghost is coming through, according to them. Like, go away, die, stop fucking with my shit. Like, essentially like that. And I thought about it, and I'm like, why would Lee be all angry and pissed off and stuff? But
because they're using it for money and fame.
Because they're using it for money and fame. And they're adding shit to it. They're like fucking up her experiment right in front of her ghost eyes. I would be pissed off too.
I would too. I would be like, we should contact her and be like, baby doll, we got you. We're not going to do this for a podcast, but if you pay an extra $9.99 a month to our Patreon, you'll have access to an exclusive interview with fucking Lee Sober Shapiro.
Yeah, exactly. When we contact her via the Ouija board.
But we'll do it the right way.
All right.
She'll get royalties.
Let's go into theories. Unless you have any other questions, Alex.
Yeah, I don't, but I feel like my theory should probably go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. It's a mid-November night. It's crisp.
It was August. It was October.
It was a mid-October night. The air is crisp. Really, October, November, nothing really changes. It was. It was a crisp night. The trees swaying in the dark. She had eaten something earlier that day. Tuna sandwich. Old McDonald's. We'll never know. Possibly KFC. She's walking to her laboratory, turning on the machines one by one, getting ready, unbeknownst to her final night. And what did she hear? A grumble coming from her tumble. Her tummy, upset by either the tuna sandwich or the old McDonald's, led to the death of Lee herself. I believe that her farts and gases were so bad and so explosive that she herself was not possessed, but it was the farts, the gases, swirling around that room like a tornado from Twisters, which I don't know how good that movie is. I've heard that it's like one of those fucking repeat sequel things, not a sequel, but not, a remake, one of those things in between, because Hollywood can't think of anything, fucking goddamn original anymore. But then the demons wanted her dead, and so they possessed her farts and killed her.
So you're saying the demons were just Taco Bell, and a double-decker killed her?
Ooh, yeah, maybe Chipotle to be more specific.
She's got that extra bean burrito.
Well, dude, all I'm saying is, I don't know how fucking Chipotle is still in business, because I swear to God, every 18 to 24 months, it comes out that they've, like, either fucking killed or fucking made a lot of people sick because of E. coli. Cannot figure out how that place is still in business.
Well, you know, she also could have drank in one of those like charged lemonades from Panera. That's just been fucking murdering everybody. Have you
But
heard
that's,
about that?
no, I haven't.
They're like super caffeinated drinks that's like 4 Red Bulls and one 20-ounce drink. And like, it literally is killing people. They had to stop producing it.
Jesus fucking Christ. That sounds like those fucking, I know you don't drink, but like 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, they came out with those fucking,
Four Locos?
oh my god, dude, those things were fucking dangerous.
Yes,
It does not surprise me that the government was like, maybe we shouldn't allow this.
yeah, Spider Dude. Alex thinks a Baja Blast and a double-decker taco from Taco Bell killed Lee Sober Shapiro.
Well, not those things specifically. I mean, that's the unknown, right? We don't know exactly what food killed her. I'm also not saying it's kind of like the Steve Jobs thing, right? You know, the gas itself did not technically kill her, right? You know, the tuna sandwich, comma old McDonald's, comma Taco Bell did not necessarily kill her, but it was the accommodation of these variables that came into play as these machines were on. And she was gassy, man, and the fucking demons possessed the gases, not her. So really, I haven't seen the pictures, but I'm assuming it's her fucking flailing and shit.
And
Really,
Alex believes.
really what that is the demons possessing the gases and like pushing her body. You know, she's not actually like consciously moving her body or anything, right? You know, it's the gases fucking. I mean, does her hair look like there's a gust of wind? I
So
mean, you've seen the pictures, right?
Alex believes that the fucking yes, I've seen the pictures. Alex believes that the mud storm this girl created in her pants due to
Yep.
the
There
12
you go.
tacos she ate
hmm
from
There you go.
Taco Bell was
This is a little
such
bit better.
a black mark on her family that they buried her entirely in the internet.
Uh, well, yes.
And all the time she said on Facebook how much she loves Taco Bell.
Yep. Yep. Well, I don't think Facebook was a thing in 2002, but yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was like literally looking at Cosmere blog and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Then I realized this is pretty much before Facebook and all the other shit.
I don't even think MySpace was a fucking thing in 2002.
No, it wasn't. Okay, on to some real theories. So,
What? Go fuck yourself.
listen, I love and respect your theory, or whatever the fuck people say nowadays. Do you feel
There you
better
go.
now?
Mm, yeah, a little bit.
Okay, on to some real theories. Uh, the I think she touched the other side.
Yeah, she touched the other side, all right. Fucking goddamn fucking scurchy butthole. All right, continue.
People say she went crazy. I am beginning to believe that if you get close to the other side, get close, like actually close to the veal, uh, if you gotta go a little crazy.
Yeah, dude. Fucking Event Horizon, baby.
I mean, yes, because if you look at the reality as we know it, is exactly what we perceive, right? I see a wall, you see a wall, but I might see white paint, you might see green paint. Everything and outside of our bodies is dubious at best. We can't touch everything at once. So we can't assume everything automatically exists. that means what we see in the third dimension is a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of the bigger picture of the fourth dimension. And to be able to comprehend the fourth dimension outside of like mathematical equations or a tesseract, you kind of got to go a little insane. And I
Like
believe
she always had that butt plug in. Well, until the night she died.
she went after a ghoul to get feedback, just to get that answer. That thing that real ghost investigators, not Zach Baggins, but people like Hellier, like me, like Alex, like Max, do is to get that affirmation that everything we've done up to this point has been real. Something, anything, an alien, a fucking ghost. Just show me something. And I believe she went after Al Ghul because she knew he would respond.
Oh, and he responded all right.
He responded. And the thing
With
about,
a
like,
pinky up the butthole.
I thought I explained this a little bit better in the outline, but I'm going to do it here. When she was saying I'm losing touch with my etheric being, that's a big fucking deal. Like, put yourself into the mind of a spiritualist. Your etheric being is your spirit animal. It's your fucking guardian. It's your guardian angel. It's a thing that sits there and watches over you and stops you from doing dumb shit so much, like, too much of it, or tries to. On the other side, it's fighting off shit in the fourth dimension so it can't fucking get to us. It is literally our firewall that protects us from the fourth dimensional monsters and the barrier that we can't really bypass. So when she's like, I'm losing my etheric being by doing this, what she is essentially doing is saying, I'm losing my shield against the darkness, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do it anyways.
Yeah, she was losing her butt plug. I think our theories are very similar.
I'm losing my etheric being to hold in this Taco Bell.
I don't know why you fucking poo-pooed, no pun intended, on my theory, because I think they're very similar. You
Anyway,
make some swaps and nouns here and there, and they're basically the same.
uh, this has ties to Crowley, like
Who
Egypt.
the fuck is Crowley?
Are you fucking
Oh,
serious? Aleister Crowley? Been with this podcast long enough to know who Aleister Crowley is.
did we talk about him?
Okay, Aleister Crowley, at the turn of the 20th century, we should probably do an episode on him. But he was like the magician. He sought out a group of magicians in London and realized they were just old men being
I
like,
thought
"Oh,
that was fucking Houdini.
wow, yeah." I'm glad you're telling the story here, Alex, that you know
Oh,
nothing
sorry.
about.
Sorry.
he
Sorry. My
sought,
bad.
he sought out magicians in London. When he realized they were just an old bunch of old men being like wow 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 to each other, he fucking left because he wanted real magic. He went to the pyramids. He studied the ancient like Egyptian teachings, shit like that. Like he created, uh, he studied like the Lesser Key of Solomon, the Greater Key. He knew shit in and out. He would look at people playing a Ouija board and being like, "You're doing it wrong." Like he was that deep into the occult, and he would legitimately say that if you go walk in the astral plane without any sort of knowledge or protection, you're basically giving yourself up to whatever is on the other side. Because there's like apparently demons that will walk around and like steal your soul and like various other things. He had this thing called I think it was like the Black House, and it's like, or the Black Lodge, and inside the Black Lodge is like malevolent deities and like demons, and that shit exists on the astral plane. And there's rumors that people that have fucked around with the astral plane uh, accidentally opened up the Black Lodge, and that's what led to a shit ton of cryptozoological sightings between the 1950s to the 2000s.
You know what I'm realizing
What's
is
that?
after all of this time, a lot of this paranormal jargon, and I don't mean jargon in a bad way, I just mean like jargon in the sense of like specific language to describe something, right? Um, it's very sexual.
Yes, there is sex magic. There is
Well,
literal.
no, I don't mean, I just mean like open up Black Lodge,
Yeah.
butt plugs,
Well,
demons possessing fart gases.
you created half of that, but the sex magic, like actual sex in magic, is considered very powerful because sex is the antithesis of like darkness. It is love. You know, it's like it's two souls touching and connecting for that moment, and it's
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if the Catholic Church would consider it love, and I don't know if any of us considering Catholic priests having sex would consider it love.
I disregard about 90% of what the Catholic Church does. I'm talking about sex between two consensual adults. There are actual rictuals that you can
What if it was two consensual kids?
I don't fucking. Are you serious? We're not talking. I don't care. All right, look, I'm not talking about pedophilia on the podcast.
Sorry.
We're going to get canceled. 2024. No, consensual between two consenting adults over the
Gotcha,
age
gotcha.
of 25.
25.
Yes, 25.
Man, we are fucking liberal here.
Like the brain stops developing at 25. Like you fully got your thoughts formed by that point. 18 is actually still
Um,
dumbasses.
yeah, no, I know that. I don't mean to be this dude. We think we could wrap this up.
What? Oh yeah, we could do that.
It was fucking 11:37.
All right, just a real quick thing. I believe she touched the other side. I believe she paid the price for it. Like maybe anything could have happened there.
I
You know,
believe she can fly.
we can toss out the idea that it's a hoax. We can uh, start to zero in on one of the possibilities that could have happened, and that's like maybe she did have a stroke and it's just a coincidence that she had to be like fucking trying to contact the demon star at the same time and taking Polaroids of herself. But I'm willing to bet she found that fracture in reality that so many people are looking for, and it got buried in the internet.
Oh, I actually do because we can cut this, right? Because we cut
Yeah,
this in post. I actually do have another question. Do you know how those Polaroids were found?
yeah, they were scattered around her.
Okay, so they were like, as in she had Polaroids that were automatically taking pictures, right? Like timed pictures, and they were just shooting out of the cameras
No,
in random spots, or were
she
they?
she took 4 Polaroids over the course of the demonic possession. Her first one was her kind of looking normal. Her second one started to look a little crazy. Her third one, which you can actually kind of see on the internet, is her kind of starting to go like, what the fuck? And then the fourth one is like just cut in half at the head. Cleanly.
Oh, so she was like taking selfies.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can see one picture online if you look up Lee Sober Shapiro.
I guess for some reason I was thinking like something else. So I take my theory back. I think she was schizophrenic.
I mean, that's a very real possibility.
I'm gonna go with that. Everybody get mental health help.
But how is that going to kill her?
Uh,
She
Okay.
does.
Okay, I'm revising my theory. My theory is schizophrenia with bad Taco Bell and her gut exploded.
You guys ready for me to debunk Alex? She looks very malnourished in the final pictures.
Oh, so do you think it was like fucking lack of food? She was also like 70 something, right?
She was like 63.
60. Oh,
So
yeah. I
she
mean, it's
could have
older, but
pushed her body too hard. That's like possible. Um, but like we don't know the cause of death. There's no you can't look up her death certificate. You can't look up what she was studying. You can't look up because her family literally scrubbed her name from the internet.
well, I got nothing else to add.
Yeah. It's one of the creepiest stories we've done in a while.
It is a super creepy story. But we should build one of those machines.
I want to build those fucking machines. I want to redo what she did to the exact parameters.
Well, then
Because
do it, bud. You got this.
let's talk about this in a fun sense. Maybe she contacted the Al Ghul, and Al Ghul was just like, "Yeah, come on up."
Yeah,
And
I got a joint waiting for us.
yeah, it's just like, yeah, you know what? Earth sucks anyways. Come on
I
up
got
here.
a six pack in the fridge, some a couple pre rolls, and some sandwiches. It's great here too, Lee. Like you just think of the sandwich and it just appears.
The other thing that like I kind of toyed with, but once again, without having a death certificate or any details surrounding her death, uh, it's hard to prove or disprove. Anapathic machines are known for healing. So if she was heavily into homeopathic medicine, perhaps she had put those objects into the output wells and the one into the input wells, uh, and contacted Al Ghul as a way to fucking cure cancer. Like maybe she was suffering from some debilitating illness, and she's like, maybe if I crank this up to a high enough frequency, get in touch with something that's more, powerful, uh, I could potentially cure whatever's ailing me.
Well, shit. Only if she teamed up with fucking Steve Jobs, they could have gotten the fucking UI on that goddamn machine fucking perfect.
She really should have. Then we know more. Well, no, because then the government would have it, and we would never hear about this story in any of its capacity, except for like a blip on the radar.
All right,
Let's
well,
okay.
you got
Let's
anything else?
Yeah. I mean the final theory is the government covered it all up and took the machines and then went, "We're gonna contact the dead. See ya."
Well, I feel like with most of this type of stuff, that the last theory is always the government covered it up. Well, maybe the last theory is the Jews covered it up.
Can we recap the whole podcast? Don't worry, Lord of Old Door Frames. It will be available on Twitch. I'll publish it as soon as we're done here.
All right. Well, since that fucking wraps things up here, you can find an uncut version of the show on Twitch and YouTube. Complete audio and edited versions of the show can be found wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, except for one. And if you'd like to support the
With
podcast,
all of Alex's pedophile comments.
and if you would like to support the podcast, you can join our Patreon at www.pedophile.com/Crook Irish Studios. I'm sorry, I meant www.patreon.com/Crook Irish Studios. If you're interested in learning more about any of the topics discussed here, you can start by finding a list of our sources under the description of each episode on your preferred platform. And as always, you can email us at crookirishstudios@gmail.com.
All right, just a couple quick shout outs. Shout out to John Zaro for allowing us to end the episode with Old Lang Syne. Shout out to my Twitch mods today, who are Ceebs, CEEBBZ. Let me go ahead and do a shout out for that. And a shout out to Spider Dude 200. That is SPIDERDUDE 200.
What about not dingleberries?
And a shout out to Not Dingleberries, wherever that's at. Let me go ahead and copy his name. That is NOT_DINGLEBELLS. Okay. Shout out for that. It's not Dingle Bells. It's not Dingleberries. Oh my God, Dingle Bells.
It'll always be dingleberries to me.
And then a shout out to the Lord of all door frames. That is LORDOFALLDOORFRAMES, and he has already shouted himself out. But those guys are the reason why we're here. They help run the channel. They're very supportive. Go follow them. And I think that's it. Oh, Spider Dude says you gotta play Fortnite with him.
Well, not tonight. It's fucking midnight, bro. I'm going to bed. Let me know when we're in like the Twitch screen though, like the ending Twitch screen.
We're in the ending Twitch screen.
Oh, okay, because
Oh,
my
okay. So I'm Kenny Crook Irish Kirby, signing off, and we will catch you all next time. Keep it weird. Unless I summon Al Ghul.
technical difficulties.
Max.
Is that it?
Max took it to the max. But that's it.
To the
Yeah.
max.
Are you gonna say your goodbyes?
Well, no. You said we were in the Twitch screen, so I switched audio so I could go not smoke a cigarette. I don't know if I should be telling the world that I smoke cigarettes.
Nah,
but...
you're too lame. No, I mean.
And as always, I'm special guest Alex, and I invented this restaurant pick out tiny little appetizers.
We got about 90% of what he just said. Guys, I encourage you to go out, look up Lee Sober Shapiro, see if you can find any information, and let us know. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if any updates come out, I will keep the channel updated.